Today's lesson is Ivan the Fool. Hi, everybody. My name is Roger.
And my name is Helen.
And today we're going to give you a synopsis or a summary of an old story written by Leo Tolstoy way back in 1886. Leo Tolstoy, of course, is a famous Russian writer who wrote War and Peace and Anna Karenina. But, of course, today we're going to talk about one of the many short stories he wrote as well. This one is called Ivan the Fool.
Yes, and apparently this short story has a moral, which is that a person should remain humble and should want to help other people because by living like that, one can have a good life and avoid bad influences such as the influences of the devil.
Indeed, and it's kind of a fun story. We've got a farmer here who's quite rich, and he's got 3 sons, and then the devil plays a part in this story as well. So we'll find out what this is all about. We're going to give a summary of the story in the next couple of days. So pay attention, please concentrate, and then you'll get the most out of the story. And you might want to study Russian someday instead of English. Let's listen now to the first part of our lesson, and we'll come back to talk about it.
Ivan the Fool. A rich farmer had 3 sons, Simeon the soldier, Taras the merchant, and Ivan, considered by many to be a fool. Simeon and Taras had left the family farm to seek their fortunes, but both eventually found themselves in financial trouble. They returned to demand a share of the family's estate, and while their father thought giving them a portion of Ivan's inheritance would be unfair, Ivan didn't mind and let them go with the wealth and his blessing.
大家好，第一部分我们看到形容词 financial 表示财务的、金融的或是财政的。例如 Shane often asks Kathy for financial advice. Shane 经常向 Kathy 请教财务方面的意见。接着我们看到单字 estate， 这个字是名词，指地产、庄园或是遗产。举例来说 The family owns a large estate that sits on the edge of a golf course. 这家人拥有一处位于高尔夫球场边缘的大地产。或是 Sebastian's uncle owns a large estate in the countryside north of London. Sebastian 的叔叔在伦敦北部的乡村拥有一处大庄园。再来，我们看到名词 inheritance。表示继承的遗产、继承物或是遗传。例如 Michael hasn't worked since he received an inheritance from a rich uncle. 自从 Michael 从一个富有的叔叔那里得到遗产后，他就一直没有工作。或是 A particular gene is responsible for the inheritance of skin color. 肤色的遗传取决于一种特定的基因。另外，补充这个字的动词 inherit, I-N-H-E-R-I-T, inherit, 指继承、承袭。像是 Jeremy inherited the farm from his parents. Jeremy 从他父母那边继承了农场。也可以说 Mike inherited ownership of the company from his father.Mike 从他的父亲手中承袭了公司的所有权。
So, on to the first part of this story. A rich farmer had 3 sons, Simeon the soldier, Taras the merchant, and Ivan, considered by many to be a fool. So we know from this first sentence that we are talking about a farmer who is very rich and who has 3 sons. One son, Simeon, is a soldier, so he goes off and fights and defends the country. Taras is a merchant. Now, a merchant is somebody whose job is to buy and sell goods. So they buy things so that they can sell those things to other people. And there's a third son, Ivan, who many people think is not a very smart person. So he is considered by many to be a fool. A fool is someone who is not smart.
Okay, so there you have it. We got the rich farmer and 3 sons, a soldier, a merchant, and a fool. Simeon and Terence had left the family farm to seek their fortunes, but both eventually found themselves in financial trouble. So this might be a story that happens often all over the world, even here in Taiwan. You've got a farmer down south, and of course he raises kids, but they head off, they leave the family farm because they want to seek their fortunes. So maybe they're from a family farm down in Pingdong or down in Yunlin or something like that, and they decide to move up to Taipei to get rich. So to seek your fortune means to pursue your career and to make a lot of money.
Yes, and this is what Simeon and Terence wanted to do, but both eventually found themselves in financial trouble. When you find yourself in financial trouble, it means that you're having problems with money, that you're not making money or that you're losing money. So financial here refers to anything that involves money. A person who is rich might have a financial advisor, because if you have a lot of money, you might not know what to do with this money, how to invest it. So you need a financial advisor to tell you what to do.
Exactly. So these 2 guys, Simeon and Terence, left the family farm. Maybe they moved to Moscow or something like that. And, well, they may have tried to start a business or something, or they invested in some various financial schemes. They did not work out, so they were having financial trouble. They became broke, basically. So they returned to demand a share of the family's estate. And while their father thought giving them a portion of Ivan's inheritance would be unfair, Ivan didn't mind and let them go with the wealth and his blessing. So again, they returned to the family farm, and because they're the sons of the farmer, they returned and they demanded a share of the family's estate. Hey, we're the sons, especially we're son number 1 and number 2, so we're here to claim our family's estate, okay? Dad, we love you, but, you know, when you pass away, we want to get the inheritance, or you can give us some now. So, yes, indeed, they wanted a share of the family's estate. An estate could refer to the property itself, but usually one's estate refers to everything that you own, including the house and the property and all the things within it.
Right. And to demand something means that you make a firm statement that you want something. So if I'm in a store and I'm unhappy with the service, I could say to the clerk, I demand to see your manager so that I can file a complaint. So I make a firm statement that I want to see the store manager. A word about the word eventually. When something happens eventually, it means that it happens after a long period of time or after a long process. So I could say something like, after driving for miles and getting lost several times, we eventually got to our hotel.
Exactly. So eventually they had financial problems. They returned to the family farm and demanded a share of the family's estate. And, well, the father thought that giving a portion of Ivan's inheritance would be unfair. Ivan was pretty cool about it. Don't worry, Dad. I don't mind. They can have all the wealth, and I give them my blessing. Here, blessing just means you wish them the best. You may give someone a blessing or give someone your blessing at their wedding, for example, which basically has some kind of religious flavor to it. You're giving them protection from God.
Right. You can also use blessing in the following context. This doesn't really happen a lot anymore, but in the past, if a man wanted to marry a woman, the man would have to first get the blessing of the woman's father or the woman's parents, because without their blessing or without their permission or support of the marriage, the man would not be able to marry the woman.
Exactly. So in this particular case, Ivan gave his brothers his blessing. It's okay, guys. You probably tried your best to make your fortune in the city. It didn't work out. This can happen to anybody. Yeah, I can share the wealth with you, no problem. I give you my blessing. I wish you the best of luck. Okay, that brings us to the end of the first part of our summary. Let's move on now to the second part and find out what happens next.
This goodwill between the brothers angered the devil, who sent 3 imps to bring them trouble. Simeon's imp filled him with excessive courage, causing him to lose an important battle. Taras's imp filled him with greed, which made him go deep into debt.
第二部分，我们看到单字 goodwill 这个字是名词，表示善意或是友善。例如 ，athletes can show their goodwill by wishing their competitors good luck。运动员可以透过祝福他们的竞争对手好运，来表达他们的善意。或者 ，the home team showed their goodwill by hosting a dinner for the visiting team。主队为客队举办晚宴，借此表达他们的友善。接着我们看到形容词 excessive 指过度的或是过多的，像是 excessive thirst is a symptom of several potentially harmful conditions。过度口渴是许多潜在危险病症的症状。
So in the previous section, we found out that the 3 brothers, Simeon, Taras, and Ivan, actually have a pretty good relationship with each other because when Taras and Simeon came back and wanted Ivan's share of the estate, Ivan said, "Sure, go ahead, you have my blessing." Now, this goodwill between the brothers angered the devil, who sent 3 imps to bring them trouble. So goodwill here refers to a feeling of being kind and friendly and helpful to another person. So if there is goodwill between people, between the brothers, it means that they are friendly with each other, they are helpful, and they are good to each other. And this goodwill made the devil very angry.
Yep, we've got the devil involved here, the evil spirit from hell. And he's angry about their goodwill, about their friendship to each other. So he wanted to cause trouble, and he sent 3 imps to bring them trouble. So an imp here refers to kind of a small, evil little spirit. I guess it's similar to a devil. In common speech, an imp is an insulting word for a small person who is annoying. You might call somebody a little imp. If they annoy you, but that's kind of rude. Don't try to use that term that way. But in this particular case, an imp is like an evil little spirit who's going to try to cause trouble.
Yes, and the devil sent 3 imps, 1 for each brother. Simeon's imp filled him with excessive courage, causing him to lose an important battle. So what this imp did to Simeon was that he gave Simeon excessive courage. Excessive means too much, more than what is necessary. So although it's important to have courage when you go into a battle, to have too much or excessive courage could make you lose the battle because then you're not being intelligent, you're not being prudent, and maybe you end up doing things that will make you lose.
Yep, you're not afraid of anything, so of course you take a lot of chances, and a lot of your soldiers get killed as a result. So yeah, he lost a battle because of that excessive courage. And then Taras's imp filled him with greed, which made him go deep into debt. Greed is an excessive desire for money. If you're greedy, you want more and more money. You may remember the old movie Wall Street with Michael Douglas. Greed is good, greed is right, etc. That was a famous repeated speech. But in this particular case, Taras was filled with greed. He just wanted more and more. And because of that, he probably made some bad investments, some bad business deals, and that made him go deep into debt. If you go into debt, you owe lots of people money and you don't really have any of your own, and that's a bad situation to be in.
Right. So if you go deep into debt, it means that you owe a lot of money to people.
Okay, that brings us to the end of the second part of our lesson for today. Let's move on and find out what the next imp tried to do to Ivan the Fool.
Ivan's imp found him tough to bother because his only ambitions were to work hard and help his family. So all it could do was make him ill. But the result was that Ivan worked even harder. When Ivan at last discovered the imp and threatened to kill him, the imp gave him some healing roots in exchange for his life. Cured of his illness after eating one, Ivan was satisfied and let the imp go.
最后第三部分，我们看到片语 in exchange for 指交换点点点。例如 I will give you a slice of pizza in exchange for your sandwich. 我用一片披萨来交换你的三明治。
Now, Ivan's imp found him tough to bother because his only ambitions were to work hard and help his family. So all it could do was make him ill. So Ivan's imp had trouble finding a way to hurt Ivan because he really didn't have anything that could make him fall. The only thing that he was really interested in was to work hard and to be helpful to his family. So what could the imp do to hurt Ivan?
So here we've got the imp trying to cause trouble with Ivan, but Ivan is not greedy like one of his brothers, and he's not too courageous like one of his brothers. Ivan's just a simple guy who just wants to work hard. So, yeah, what do you do about a guy like that? How do you corrupt a person like that? How do you make that person fail? So, yes, indeed, Ivan was tough to bother because Ivan's only ambitions were to work hard and help the family. Your ambition, of course, is what you want to do in the future. You might be very ambitious, for example. You want to have a successful career and make a lot of money and retire early and stuff like that. That means you have a lot of ambitions. But he did not have a lot of ambitions. So all the imp could do was to make him sick, to make him ill. But the result was that Ivan worked even harder. So Ivan got sick, but he thought, well, I'll just take this in stride. I will work really hard in order to get healthy again.
That's right. And when Ivan at last discovered the imp and threatened to kill him, the imp gave him some healing roots in exchange for his life. So eventually, Ivan discovered that there was an imp following him around trying to hurt him. So Ivan decided to threaten the imp's life and to kill the imp. And what did the imp do? Because the imp wanted to live. He wanted to survive. So he gave Ivan some healing roots, roots that can heal. So if you take these roots, then you can get well if you have a disease. And in exchange for these roots, the imp wanted his life. He wanted his life to be saved.
So Ivan is usually kind of a laid-back, mellow person. He's not bothered very much by things, but when the imp was causing problems, well, Ivan was pushed too far and he wanted to kill that imp because he was causing so much trouble. The imp was threatened and felt that his life was in danger. So he thought, oh, okay, I'll give you these healing roots in exchange for my life. So in exchange for just means you're going to trade. So, for example, I'll give you my Mustang car in exchange for your Porsche. For example, we'll trade our cars here. But in this particular case, he was going to trade the healing roots for his life, and they were going to do this as a sort of exchange.
That's right. And cured of his illness after eating one root, Ivan was satisfied and let the imp go. So the imp was free. He wasn't going to be killed by Ivan because the root that he gave Ivan worked and Ivan was cured.
But so here, of course, we've got the phrase to be cured of something, which means you had some kind of sickness, but then the doctor gave you the proper treatment, gave you the proper medication or whatever, and you were cured of your illness. So their cure is being used as a verb, but cure could also be used as a noun. We're still looking for a cure for cancer or a cure for AIDS or various other diseases out there. So indeed, this was an even exchange here, of course. Ivan was going to kill the imp, but he offered him some healing roots in exchange for his life. And, of course, they worked out the deal. They probably drew up a contract or something like that. They signed on the dotted line, and the imp was able to be spared, and Ivan was cured of his illness.
That's right. But remember that the imp gave Ivan not just one root, he gave them some roots, and Ivan ate only one. So the question remains, what is Ivan going to do with the other roots that the imp gave him?
That's for us to know and you to find out in our next program. Right now, we're going to listen to our pretty famous Chinese teacher.
各位同学大家好，我是 Hanny。 我们来看今天的文法重点。课文第3部分一开始写到 Ivan 的小恶魔发现很难去搅扰他，因为他唯一的抱负就是努力工作和帮助家业。 So all it could do was make him ill. 所以小恶魔只能够让他生病。好，那这边要介绍的句型是 All that somebody can do is 再加原形动词，这表示说某人只能做某事。好，那么句型里面这个 all 它就是先行词，相当于 the only thing。那么后面的关系子句 that somebody can do 是用来修饰 all， 所以 all that somebody can do 你就可以把它想成是 the only thing that somebody can do， 某人唯一能做的事，某人只能做的事。那其中的 that 可以省略。好，那特别注意的是 all 要把它视为单数，所以这个 all that somebody can do 我们看到后方它搭配的是单数动词 is， 然后 is 后面再去接补语。好，那我们接着就看到这个 that 关系子句里面它的动词有包含 do， 那这时候呢我们 is 后面的补语就会用原形动词来表示，就像我们课文里面他说 all it could do was make him ill， 这边它是用过去式在表达，可是你看到 was 后面却直接接了原形动词 make。 好，那它这边只是因为这个 it could do 是省略字 that it could do 省略的 that， 然后我们看到它里面有 do， 所以你才会看到 was 后面就直接接了 make。 我们再补充几个类似的句型哦。第一个句型像 all that somebody need to do is 点点点，就是某人唯一需要做的事是什么什么。第二个 all that somebody want to do is 点点点，就是某人唯一想做的事就是点点点点点。那么第三个句型你可以用 all that somebody have to do is 点点点，某人只需要做的事是什么什么。那在这些句型当中，关系子句里面都有动词 do， 所以呢我们就会在 is 后面去接一个原形动词来当补语。举例来说 all I want to do is go home and sleep， 我唯一想做的事就是回家睡觉， is 后面接原形动词 go。 All you need to do is believe in yourself， 你唯一需要做的事就是相信自己，这边一样 is 后面直接接了原形动词 believe。 好，那如果关系子句里面不包含动词 do 的话呢，这时候像是 all that somebody need is 点点点，某人唯一需要的是什么啊？某人只需要什么？或者是 all that somebody want is 点点点，某人唯一想要的是什么？某人只想要什么？好，那这时候没有 do 嘛，那我们看到 is 的后面你就可以接不定词片语，或者是接名词去当补语。来看两个例子 all I want is to be with you， 我唯一想要的是和你在一起，我只想要和你在一起。 all he needs is friendship，他所要的只是友情。好，那么以上是今天重点整理，我们回顾今天的单字吧。
Merchant. The merchant arrived in the city with spices and silks to sell. She eventually moved back home to take care of her elderly mother. Financial. He doesn't give good financial advice, so don't listen to him. Demand. The customer demanded a full refund for the broken flashlight. Estate. He plans to divide his estate evenly among his children when he dies. Blessing. James asked his girlfriend's father for his blessing to marry her. Excessive. The police denied using excessive force during the arrest.
Well, everyone, today's article has come to an end, and I sure hope you enjoyed reading along with us. I am Roger.
I'm Helen.
See you next time.